what's up YouTube? It's Stock V6 here checking in. Today I got a little bit of a different video for you guys. I know usually I'm talking about my car personally and what's going on and what's to come up with it, talking about races and stuff like that. But today I got a little bit something different because I've been getting this question a lot. It's supercharger versus turbo. I get this question so often due to the fact that I was actually supercharged before this. So basically this is my video to you on telling you how to save money and what I think the best options are. I'm going to give you pros and cons of both and see what you guys have to say. I'm going to insert a couple clips on how my car ran and basically what my car sounded like and everything, and we'll go from there. But first I'm actually going to talk about a supercharger setup. Before I went turbo, I actually was a 2.8 liter Kenny Bell Mammoth supercharger setup. Was probably honestly after full bolt-ons and a tune on 93, probably around like 580 wheel horsepower on about 8.5, 9 psi. Obviously not a lot of boost, and car made great torque, but you know, it had its downfalls. A roots blower heat soaks a lot, and let's just say after a couple pulls I started noticing a lot of a horsepower difference, and that was not my favorite thing, because obviously when you go out to Mexico you don't run once and be done, you got a couple runs ahead. The thing I loved about having a supercharger was the instant torque, the instant power. No matter what RPM range you were at, no matter where you were in your power band, it was just there and it went. It was amazing. I loved it. I just think, you know, the power drop off due to the fact that the heat soak is what bothered me personally. But I'm not gonna lie, I miss that instant power no matter where I am in the RPM range. It was really awesome. I think another downside to being supercharged, honestly, is the fact that if you wanna make more boost, you basically gotta pulley down and go with a smaller pulley and everything. And it's not just as simple as clicking a button up or down on your boost controller. That's a little crappy if you ask me. But you know what? I think the checks and balances are there for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people like the fact that it's always consistent, and there's a lot more direct bolt-on kits, I guess you could say, for a supercharger. It's a lot easier. There's not as many problems with it. It's basically straightforward and very easy to install, and a lot of people love that. I'm gonna drop a couple clips of my car. Basically, I was full bolt-ons, like I said before, on a Kenny Bell supercharger. I made about 580 wheel, like I said before, but you know what? It was fun, and it had its perks. But here's a couple of videos of my car. Alright guys, so now I'm back. You saw a little bit of how it worked and how it sounded with everything going on with the supercharger kit. So now let's talk about the turbo kit and basically what I changed up before I ended up finishing the car. I ended up going with a dual fuel pump setup and bigger injectors. Basically I wanted it to make more power than the blower did, but I also wanted it to be safer, so I went with that whole fuel setup so I could run E85. Also changed some things out, like a one-piece drive shaft, which many of you know that does help put down power more, so that was kind of needed. Basically all said and done, I got the car ready up. I went with the turbo kit. I know a lot of people like pro chargers too, and I know a lot of people love supercharger setups, but I absolutely love the turbo setup. I'm not gonna lie. It's an on3 kit, you know, so it's not the most expensive kit that they come out with between other brands, but you know what? It does the job and it does it well. Basically what I ended up going with was 8 psi springs and everything. I've kept it on wastegate the whole time. Problems that I kind of felt like cons with going turbo were that you have a lot more problems for things to go wrong, a lot more pieces and parts that are harder to put on a car and basically more to work with than the blower setups for our cars. But you know what? I think that downfall has a lot more pros than anything. Basically, I could turn up the boost however I want without having to change anything other than hitting up on my boost controller. Also, I love for the fact that, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that boost lag and hitting boost all of a sudden is absolutely insane. You go from NA power to crazy power instantly. Also, what I love about the turbo setup is you could drive it almost as an NA car if you don't get into boost. If you just drive normal, it's amazing. And you know what? I love the turbo setup for the fact that I've heard a lot of tuners say that you could actually make better and safer power off of a turbo than you can off of a supercharger, especially if you're stock block. So always keep that in mind. But like I said, I was going to give you my personal preference. I absolutely love being turboed. I recommend it to everyone. Anyone who asks me this question, I always say go turboed. Many people ask twin or single. I'm a single setup, but honestly, twin setup is amazing if you want power a little bit faster. But you know what? A single setup just hits a little harder, I feel like. And I feel like there's more potential for more power, but that's just a personal preference. But you know what? Like I said, I feel turbos are better, but you know what? Everyone has their own thing and everyone loves their own thing. It's just my personal preference. So from me to you, I recommend a turbo. If you're a supercharger guy, I feel you, that instant power is amazing, but me, turbos are the way to go. I'm gonna drop a couple clips actually for you guys on the whole turbo setup and give you guys some ideas on how it sounds, how it runs, and basically what 8 PSI does and how it looks. For anyone wondering, 8 PSI is around 675 wheel horsepower. Hasn't been on a dyno yet, but that's basically what my tuner said, Rob from Palm Beach Dyno. So you know what, guys, this is basically me wrapping up the video. I'll drop those clips at the end, but I just want to say thank you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon. Thank you.
We're not racing. We're not racing, just a video.